Hey guys, welcome back to the Group View. First of all, just want to wish everybody out there a Happy New Year. This is Alejandro.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Julian, guys. Happy New Year. Welcome back.
Yeah.
And we got Matt in the back.
What's going on?
So with the new year, obviously comes the games post-New Year, which are very interesting. A lot of them, obviously, you can see me wearing Man United shirt, and I'm a little upset on that result. 2-0 loss to Arsenal. I guess we can start it off there. Just from watching it, the first thing I want to say is this. Arsenal looked great. They were attacking. They were on us the whole game, basically. But I think something that Man United is missing, key, like a very important thing, is that whenever we are on the ball, we don't know what we're doing with it. Like, we slow the game down, but not in the creative sense, but just slow it down because it looks like we're lost on the field. I don't know if you guys happen to see the game and have any thoughts on that.
I think that Arsenal. I think Arsenal did a good job of defending as well. I thought that Man United on their counterattacks were pretty. It was slow. It was like a slow build up. They couldn't really get in between.
They couldn't do nothing.
David Luiz actually had a good game.
Yo, he did kill you.
And he
He
wasn't
did.
doing.
What are you looking at me for?
Yeah,
he's Brazilian.
He's been a little slow lately. He's been a little on and off.
Well,
I thought David Luiz did a very good job against Man
he
United.
has always been like that. Like his whole career has been like that.
Oh,
he's on and off. No, it's true.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
he's not a true defender. You know what I mean? Like he wants to be all over the field always.
Yeah, he does.
Like even when he played for Chelsea, he was like that. When he played for every team that he played for, he was like that.
Yeah, but you could tell that if you pressed David Luiz, if you pressed him fast, that he would give up the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that the forwards need to look at that a little bit more, at least the next time they face Arsenal. But
yeah.
Well, for other teams, right? Because Menu, even if they face them next time, yeah.
I do have to say, I think just in general, I actually didn't watch the game, but you got to look at kind of like the whole picture. Like, I think Man U has been getting better in general from like the beginning of the season.
I mean, yeah, from when we started, it has improved. But I mean
they're right now they stand sixth place. I believe sixth place.
That was
no,
the
we're
thing.
Fifth.
That was the thing that we were talking about.
Right. So even
they got
place.
lucky that other teams behind them also lost
Which,
because it's so close, like in the table and stuff. They're so close that one team messes up and the other teams win.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
and then they'll
like
take
you can literally go within 2 weeks if you
And
lose
then,
back to
and
back. You
kill
can
it.
literally go from 5th to 14th.
Yeah,
which
just
that,
like that.
And that kind of leads up to the next one because I think right now the closest competition we got is probably between like obviously there's a lot like we're like 4 points away from Chelsea, but then we're also close to Tottenham who can take us over, and they actually lost also to Southampton, which is crazy.
That is.
And I mean it's kind of weird because I mean when Mourinho came, like he was doing well, and now the last 2 games they've suffered, 2 big losses, like Southampton and then I think Norwich was the other one, right?
Yeah. That was a tie, no?
Was it a
Wasn't
tie?
that? I think it was a tie. 1-1.
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
But that's
Yeah, it
still
was a
that's-
tie.
those like 5 teams between the 5th place and the 10th place. So you have Man U, Tottenham, Wolverhampton, Sheffield, Crystal Palace, and Arsenal, who are literally 31 points to 27.
Yeah,
that's
you
crazy.
see, that's what I
close.
mean.
Yeah.
Like,
So
they're
it's,
right
it's
there.
it's like one game, and then
It'll
you
make
can
a huge
ruin your
difference, right.
season.
That's why I said, like, listen, Menu got lucky that
Those
all the other
teams
teams lost at
Right.
so
Yeah.
it all stayed the same basically. But going back to Arsenal, right? Going back to that game, I think that game Arsenal just had an all around good game.
You
You know what I mean? Like you can tell, and they even said it after the match that they are happier now. That they're playing
with
happy.
Arteta.
Yeah.
And that's something I do want to note too, because I mean, not to like go like to last week's, 2 week prior ago, but like
Right.
when they lost to Chelsea, that first half they also looked great. They
Yeah.
looked confident on the ball, and they did look like they wanted to attack, which they did. They did
Right.
attack a lot. They just couldn't finish, but I thought that they looked great, and it did carry over, which is obviously it's good for all the Arsenal fans out there. That's definitely a good look for them, and it does show you that under
They're
the
saying
right
that
coach.
his practice style and everything. So some of the players are saying that they were out of shape. They considered themselves out of shape before he got in.
Yeah.
That prior to that they considered themselves out of shape, and you can kind of see it in some games that they will die out.
You can still see it in the
You can
game
still
against
see it-
Man U.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But what is changing now is his style of practice is really helping them improve their fitness level.
I mean,
So
that's
I
good.
think he's really it's what I said before. I think he's bringing his what he learned from Guardiola into Arsenal, and then obviously tweaking into his own style.
His own
but
style.
it's like Guardiola's assistant, but now being the head
It's
coach.
very
So
similar gameplay.
it
Yeah.
is.
It
It's
is.
very.
It's a
but
good
they
look for
look.
Arsenal.
You can see the forwards having a hard time, kind of just like getting like just finishing in general.
Right.
Like when I was, Lacazette had a couple opportunities, but like they were, it was
That's
just
my
like they're
boy.
Yeah.
That's my
Nah,
boy.
they do
Arsenal have a-
well hustling
Yeah.
to get the ball.
Yeah.
And they press well, but then there's certain times when they have a breakaway, and I don't, and it could be like you said that they're gassed out,
Right.
and then they just can't capitalize because they could have easily scored 2 more goals against Man U.
Oh,
that
for
game.
sure. Yeah. Even that first goal that my boy Pepe scored, that was
Yeah.
a fluke. But
yeah, he hit that bad.
when luck is on your luck,
Right.
when you're doing things the right way and you're working hard and stuff, luck is gonna be on your
It
side.
definitely is. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Like
it
if it was the old Arsenal, like let's say 3 or 4 weeks ago, he would have missed that,
Right.
and it would have maybe been 1-0 for them, or maybe Man U would have pulled it off 1-0.
Nah, we didn't look confident. on
So,
the ball.
but this is what I mean. Like when a team is like that, and you can tell that they're happier, that they're working hard, that they're, because just what
Yeah, you could see the enthusiasm.
just
the
3 weeks ago,
optimistic-
they were going through that whole captain, and fans going at each other and all that.
Yeah,
Other,
no, they were.
off
They
the
were.
field that takes the attention from the players.
Right.
And it
and
changes.
and Arteta broke the news. And people are saying Arteta's bringing the team together, so it's
Right.
It's good to see. 'Cause
Yeah.
But then let me
Arsenal's a
ask you
strong
guys
team.
this, like, let me ask you guys, looking ahead, like, kind of, let's just go kind of like towards the end of the season. Where do you guys see Arsenal ending up? Like, European spots, or? I mean,
I believe
they're only
so.
3 points. They're only 4 points behind European place.
Nah,
I think
believe so.
Arsenal
I don't
can
think
make
you
top
want.
5.
I don't think you want to.
I think
Right? You don't.
Nah,
you
don't
don't
do
want to
that.
believe
Nah,
that, because then
Man
that
U gonna
means
be
Man
top
U is
4.
gonna.
no, yeah.
Man,
look.
I think Man U will end up top 4.
Man, you gonna be top 4. But look, we'll save that for like a little later to go
Yeah.
really in depth and talk about some more like predictions on that aspect. But I mean, if they keep playing like this, I will admit. I mean, even as hard as it is to admit, they definitely will end up at least in Europa League, possibly Champions League spot. If they continue to play.
I actually don't see it that way, honestly, because if you look at them over the past several years, they've just been so inconsistent. It's like they'll have a great game, and they'll play well for a couple games, and then they'll go back down. I feel like they just can't. I mean, and they have amazing players.
No, they do
And,
have
and
good
I actually like the way they play, just because it's kind of like similar to Barcelona.
Yeah, they got that touch possession. No, I do like the way
Well,
they play.
I wouldn't say amazing players. I think they have some really good players and some average players. I think they're still coming around as a team.
I still
see-
think that they're not really. I still see that they're not really a team together right now.
Right, they're
they're-
not. They're still having to deal
They're
with
having a hard time.
off the field.
I mean, they
stuff.
just-
So you would say-
They
so you would
just
say
got
so-
a new coach.
So you would say
Right,
it's
that's
a
what I
work in
mean, yeah.
progress.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But how long is this work in progress going to go?
Sometimes
on
they
for?
take seasons. Look, I mean,
He's
Arsenal's
still-
in a
yeah.
drought. Now they're coming back a little bit.
So
yeah,
look,
no,
he's
that's
still like, isn't this his
So
first?
far
It's his
that's
first
his
head
first
coaching
season. Yeah, that's his first season.
career,
so let's just
right?
let's
His
just,
first
All
head
right,
coaching
we'll
job.
play it out.
move on.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
move
give
on
him his due
away
Why
from
don't we
diligence.
that.
check out
but-
West Ham and Bournemouth?
Okay,
West-
4-0.
4-0. Did you happen to see that game?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't. But I mean, no, it's a great result. That's definitely a good result. For West Ham, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, being in the 16th place, so I don't really know if that's.
I think it's
You think they
pretty
I mean-
relevant. I mean, not irrelevant, obviously, for them. That's a great score for them.
Look, it's
Hey,
a great. I mean, and again, that's why the Prem is always like the entertaining league, because they're always gonna have teams that are at the bottom and are gonna perform well. And again, that like brings it back to again 2 results that were kind of like upsets, which was Brighton and Chelsea, which
Right.
ended up in a 1-1 draw, and then Southampton 1-0 over Tottenham.
Hold on, sorry to cut you off. You said keyword always. So far this year, it's proven otherwise. I mean,
What do you mean?
Liverpool on top by like what, 13 points,
Oh well, I mean, but Liverpool's
14
just have.
points.
I mean, look,
They're
I'm
having
glad.
a hell
I'm
of a
glad
season,
that
though.
No,
we-
they are. I mean, they're playing amazingly. I mean, these guys are on autopilot. They're unstoppable. Even they're kind of turning into that type of team that is like they could have a bad game and they'll still manage to pull it off.
And I think
Which
that
is
I think
like-
is because right now, like again, from watching them play against Sheffield United, and I think you mentioned it. Like even in the first half, they only scored 1-0, but they just looked so dominant,
Yeah.
So
and they
dominant,
were so
yeah.
dominant. And that's the thing. There's certain team, like not every team that wins the league is always going to be a great team, and just in any league, not just the Prem. And it's
Right.
like Liverpool right now is reminding me of like those great teams, like the 2009 Barcelona, the when AC Milan had an insane squad. Like it's reminding me of those teams that
Yeah.
just dominate. And like you said, even if they have a bad game,
They'll
and
pull
I
it
think
off.
that's why like they're just so miles ahead. But that doesn't take away from a lot of upsets that have happened this season.
Right,
throughout
and I
the
think
other
in general,
teams.
to win a league,
'Cause
whether
they-
it's the Spanish league, the Premier,
Who was
the
it?
Premier
Didn't they
League, whatever
lose?
it
They
is,
lost to
No, Liverpool?
yeah.
Did they lose this
They
season?
No,
haven't,
they
they haven't
draw.
lost.
They draw.
I think they only
They're
drew.
19-1
yeah.
They
Yeah.
drew.
Right.
Nah, yeah, they're undefeated. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. And I mean, nah, there's just look.
The
it's-
only thing that I want to see is because their schedule is insane. So they
Yeah.
have to make big decisions in some games. You know what I mean? Like they're, playing some games. Like let's say they'll play a league game, and then they'll have to play Champions League, or they have to play the FA Cup.
Basically,
So they have to figure out
And
what players to kind
they,
of
they
sit
need
out.
their bench to basically step up.
They
Yeah,
do.
what
but
it
I-
is.
I think that's where obviously the coach comes in, and that's huge. And that to me, he's one of the best coaches, top 3 for sure.
Oh, for
If
Well,
sure.
not,
Klopp,
if not,
yeah,
if
definitely.
not the best coach right now, honestly.
sure.
To me,
Probably.
Yeah.
but I think he'll be able to
I
handle
don't think
it quite
anybody
well.
else is up there yet.
But yeah, so going to that Chelsea game,
That's crazy.
you see, yeah, Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea and Arsenal are that.
They're
They're
similar,
like,
right?
They're
They'll
that type of team.
They'll have like
Yeah,
good
they're
games,
like-
and then all of a sudden they'll just throw
on
it
and
away.
off,
And I mean,
yeah.
and not to take anything away from Brighton, like good to them, they did well, but you expect Chelsea to pull away
You
with
do.
the 3 points,
you do.
even if they're away from home. It's just crazy, and they were actually on a solid run. They had just beaten Arsenal before, and they were doing well,
Yeah.
and then boom, they just ended up losing.
I mean, I didn't watch the game, but just looking
Well,
at the
time, 1-1.
stats, here, it looks like a pretty even game. Shots, 16 each. Shots on target, 5 and 5. Possession, Chelsea had just a couple more percentages. Everything's pretty similar on that.
no, I mean,
on,
and that's crazy. And I mean, again, that just brings it back. Like the Prem is always gonna have just teams that produce those upsets, and that's why it makes it so interesting, and that's why it's
Yeah.
so close. Like obviously, excluding Liverpool being so far ahead, from second place down to probably 12th, 13th, it's just so close, and that's why it's so entertaining. Because right now, the battle for second down is just anybody's battle, basically.
You know what it is? It's because teams in the Premier League, they play without being scared.
Yeah, they go.
Oh, the only team that I feel like that they're a little bit, and that's what we were talking about. The only team that they're like shaky about is Liverpool, because if you see that score, that they won 2-0, that score doesn't really show what the game was.
Like how they
Because
dominated,
how the
right?
game was, they were very dominant, and the other team sat back and were
Yeah.
playing nervous. You
They
know what I
were.
mean? Like, so the 2-0 could have been worse had they opened the game up, had they tried
been.
to attack. And that's unfortunate against the Liverpool. That's how you got to play.
I guess Southampton.
90% passing.
Yeah, no,
90%
that's crazy.
passing
That's
accuracy.
crazy. And I mean, it's just their whole team is just dominant.
They are.
And and
They
not
work
just
hard.
that, when they lose the ball, I did notice that the other team just cleared it or kicked it
Yeah,
away,
yeah.
and they really didn't try
Are
to
you
connect
talking
any
about
passes.
Sheffield?
Yeah,
Sheffield
yeah.
United,
Yeah.
Because of how hard Liverpool works, you can see every single player from forward to defenders going at the ball.
yeah, they're
right.
hungry.
But you could. There was something about that game as well. Sheffield, they did not high press, and we had a conversation
Right,
about this.
right.
We were arguing whether or not
Yeah.
you should high press
No.
Liverpool or not.
I think you should high press
I think
any
you
elite
should.
team. Any
I
elite
think
team.
you should high press them. And hold on, and the reason why I'm saying that is because you have to make them uncomfortable in the back.
Yeah,
And I think that's how you'll break it, because Virgil, he is too confident, and I
He's
can
nasty.
see he
He's
makes
filthy.
he is nasty, but he's made some stupid plays,
Right.
and when he does that, you have a counterattack
but,
easily.
But okay, we're
And I
looking.
think that,
we're
I
looking from
know.
outside.
No, I know, and I'm just saying, I
Nah,
think
it is-
that
it is
teams
easier
give them
to
too
say.
much respect,
Right.
and
I
they don't
agree.
Right,
high
for
press.
sure.
See,
sure.
I agree, and that's something like my brother and I always talk about, like especially because we watch La Liga, and a lot of teams there respect the big teams. But when you see it, like when you high press a Barcelona or when you high press Real Madrid, it just makes the whole game different.
It
They
throws
get
them off.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
They
it
start
throws
making
them
a
off.
lot more mistakes, and then that's exactly how upsets can happen. So I
Right.
agree with that. And again, it's so hard.
You
to
also
actually
need,
put into practice because you need the
players.
fitness.
You need
Look,
the players
yeah.
who could do that as well.
There's a bunch of things that come into play. One is, like you said, fitness.
Yeah.
Fitness is a big thing, but it's a mind game as well. If
100%.
you're a team,
It's
if
all
you're a
mind
team
game.
like that, like Chefs United, where did they come from? You know what I mean? Like, this is what their first season coming up the division, right?
Yeah.
right.
So you're playing against a team that just destroyed this, not only beat, but destroyed the second place team. Destroyed the second place team. And if you watch that game, obviously they went toe to toe, first against second, and Liverpool completely dominated that game.
I thought
So-
they dominated the second half way more than the first.
Still,
but yeah.
4-0. So when you're a team, a smaller team like that, so to speak, and you try to open the game up, you don't have any superstars. Of course, the upset can be there, but bro, it's hard. It's hard for you to really think like, all right, yo, let's go to toe to toe. Some teams do it. Some teams definitely absolutely do it. But when you don't have,
but then that comes back to like manager and
Yeah, I think the coach has
and
to
what
put
they have
that
to
in.
do.
oh, for
because-
sure.
And I'm not. Maybe his game plan just wasn't that good. But 2-0 is not terrible. Honestly, it's not a bad against Liverpool when you're
Right, that's
Sheffield
what-
United coming
right.
up, like you said.
Yeah.
But I also think that sometimes if you know that you're going into a game that you, as a coach, know that you probably will lose, but
Right.
you don't say that to your players.
No,
Yeah.
of course not.
The thing is, why not try and high press?
Nah, I agree
Why
with you.
not
I
shake
agree.
it up a little bit?
Right.
And this way, even if you do fail and you still lose by
Yeah.
a lot, other teams are now looking and they're going, look at that. We
No,
can
no,
do
no.
that.
Like, I completely agree with you.
No,
But I'm
I
just
agree with
giving
you.
from like the mindset
Right.
of a smaller team.
Right.
Like a Norwich, what is it, Norwich City or something like that. Like a team, they're very similar. These two, Chefs and Norwich.
right.
But the difference is that Norwich plays with confidence. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they
they
play
do,
and
they
they
do.
go to toe to toe with whichever team. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe because they have the experience of playing against these teams. Now, as Chefs United, they're just now getting the experience of playing against teams like that. You know what I mean? So in their mindset, I feel is like, let's park the bus. Let's hope.
You
I
think that that's
so.
what they're going for
I think
because
that's
they're in
what it
8th
is.
place right now?
I
They're
think
trying
it's-
to hold on to a mid-seed
When you-
kind of.
They
Of
could. I mean,
course,
honestly,
bro,
that's
like,
a great
can you-
finish for
can
them
you-
after
that's-
getting
that's
promoted.
definitely-
That's a great
That's
finish.
huge.
That's definitely a great finish for them.
But I will
Losing
say-
2-0 is not so bad
No, it's
because
not.
losing 2-0 or losing like 7-0,
Right.
you know what I mean? Your
will say
confidence
this,
goes down.
I will say this though, like from watching, because I did watch that game. Like as a coach, I would have been upset because they didn't even look like they wanted to pass the ball.
They were
At all.
completely
United.
defensive.
Sheffield
That game
United
was
did not
completely
look,
defensive.
and that to me as a coach, like I get it, we're going up against a great team. It's our first time being, in the actual Prem, but you have to at least show some heart, and they have shown it because I've seen games from them when they played at Chelsea, they played a Man United, who probably aren't
Yeah.
the strongest teams out there right now, but they've still came out there with confidence and they've pinged the ball around. And I just, as a coach, I would have felt so upset just watching my team completely give up because I saw like they won the ball back. And all the players would just spread out instead of trying to come together and link some passes together. So they'll spread out, kick the ball over, and like you said, Virgil van Dijk, he's having a great season. Nobody's gonna beat him in the air or on a run.
Yeah.
And that whole back line. I mean, every place on
Right.
that team for Liverpool is nobody's gonna get beat in the air. So it's like, why would you go for the long ball? At least try to string some passes together, at least for the first half,
Right.
and see if it goes. If you start getting blown out in the first half, okay, then go defensive, whatever. But at least try it out. To
Right.
me, so I mean, I would be upset as a coach to have watched that.
I don't think I would be upset. I think, look, you take the 2-0 loss. You
I
got
say
the 2-0
You could take the
loss.
2-0 loss, but I also think they need a high press Virgil though because he's just way too confident, and cocky in the back.
Yeah.
But that's
No, I
what
mean,
you,
he's killing it. I'm not
He's
gonna lie.
he's
like,
very
You-
good.
you would think-
insanely good.
Look,
but
you would think that
I would high press him.
I don't know.
That's all I'm
You
saying.
you
go
would
studs
think
up
that
on him, right?
you gotta
Probably.
have.
Probably break his ankle.
You just
Oh,
gotta
no.
know.
Dirty.
Yeah, my boy's
Nah.
My
dirty.
thing is like you gotta know your team. If your team has the stamina, if your team has all of that, then yeah, go for it. You know what I mean? Like we have played soccer before. We have been part of teams that were nasty. We've been part of teams that we played against nasty teams, and it's just
Nah, it's
you gotta
tough,
go
it's
with
tough,
it.
yeah.
Listen, when you when you play against a team that is at that level, like Liverpool, you got to figure out, look, how bad do you guys want to lose today?
Right.
You guys want to
No,
lose
it's a
1 or
serious
2-0, or do you guys want to lose 5 or
It's a
6?
serious question. Yeah.
Seriously, that's
That
one
is,
of,
I mean, I guess.
look, that's where I saw the difference between, so let's say a team like that, And like when Liverpool played against Flamengo, no, both teams they had never played against each other.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
Flamengo came out.
No,
with
they came
with
out.
guts.
Yeah, because Flamengo was the difference between Flamengo and Sheffield United was that Flamengo just gave it all. In
And
their
that's-
minds, it was what you guys.
and that's
were
what I'm saying, and that's how
Right,
you
right.
should play.
Oh, for sure. But one
That-
is a finals and the other one is a league game. You know what I mean? I feel like if that was the finals, it would have been a different Chefs United than in a league game.
Possibly.
You know what I mean?
I think
And
they're also
especially-
looking at their standings right now and saying
They're
we're
looking
not
at
in a
their
bad
standings.
spot.
They're not in
They're-
a bad spot. I mean,
Look,
We're not
they're
in the best
looking
spot,
at
but
their
if you know
standings.
you're gonna lose already, why not at least go out with some like balls, with some glory?
Right. But then how much balls and glory would you have if you lose 7-0?
Against an elite team like Liverpool, who's running away with the league, I wouldn't be
Stop.
upset.
Your confidence will be shot.
Think about, all right, like let's say again us to the teams we played against. Let's say if we went and we got promoted and started playing with like professional teams, like
Right.
you wouldn't want to go all out. Even if you lose 10-0, you're gonna feel like your confidence is shot knowing that you're going up against an elite
But then
team.
if you start going against because let's say, they start going against every single team like that and losing 10-0
Well,
back
yeah,
to back
'cause
to
goal
back, your
differential-
confidence
yeah,
is
goal
shot.
differential add.
I'm not
You
saying
gotta-
against every
goal
team, but I'm
differential
saying
counts,
against
doesn't it?
Liverpool.
It does.
To certain-
Everything counts, but I'm saying the confidence wise, and I think it was the whole setup. I think Liverpool beating the second place team 4-0 played a factor into that.
I mean, probably
because they
no.
saw that and they were like, if the
I
second
mean,
place
they're
team
just,
couldn't
yeah,
handle
they're
it,
just super dominant. Right
so it's
now.
just
They're
it's
super
different.
dominant.
I think I don't know, the mindset behind it. It's like it's hard for some teams. Now I'm
I
not
think
saying
it's
every
hard
team.
I think it's hard for most teams
For
to go
most
up
teams.
against Liverpool right now.
Oh, for
No, it
sure,
is
for
super
most
hard.
teams.
No, yeah, definitely.
But I'm
It's
saying
tough.
especially a team that just came up. You know what I mean?
I think that team, like we said before, I think they're really happy where they are right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, they probably are.
even if they were 20th spot, their last spot, would we really be talking about this? It's like,
And then you're playing as Liverpool that 90% passing accuracy.
Nah, yeah,
90,
they're-
like
they're
we're
killing
not.
it. They're killing it.
So you know what I mean? Like the whole everything came into play. So
Right.
now if they hadn't parked the bus, I'm telling you, it would have been
No, it probably would
it
have been
would've
a
been a-
non-slide, I get you.
so
a
it's like-
massacre.
But,
Anyways, you guys want to
moving
jump
on
to
from,
another league?
Well,
in
Man
a little
City.
bit. Hold up,
Well,
I did
Man
want to
City.
bring up Leicester City because you brought up how they got blown out by Liverpool
Yeah.
the game before.
Yeah.
I thought they had a great bounce back match, winning 3-0.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys saw the game or saw like some of the plays, but they were actually playing really well, confident,
Yep.
passing the ball around, and all of their goals were actually really nice. Like
Right.
all of
And
their goals. Were
that's
nice.
actually a tough place to play.
to go
And
away to
Newcastle away from
Newcastle
home, yeah.
always
Yep.
works hard, but
Newcastle always hustles.
and so I think, and again, I mean, obviously, I think that Liverpool's running away with it, but
Right.
the fact that Leicester had the courage and the ability to bounce back and win a confident 3-0 win
Right.
and move forward with it was amazing. I think that's great, and that's what's going to keep them in that battle for possibly
It's-
going up to.
It's funny, their pass accuracy was actually also 90%,
Was
which is
it?
pretty insane.
Yeah. It goes to show. How about that Man City against Everton?
Everton, that was a good game.
That was a
too.
good game. We actually
Very
yeah,
entertaining.
Brother
we
and I
watched
were
it.
watching
Yeah.
some of it, and
That was
Jesus almost got a hat trick.
He almost did.
He's killing it, man. He's
he
doing
is
really
killing
good.
it.
I think he's.
But-
I think he's still in Aguero's shadow.
Yeah,
I
he
think
is.
he's still coming up. It's hard for you to like replace
It's hard,
such a good
but
player.
I think he's slowly and he's building a case for himself. It's not
He
like he's
is.
doing super bad, and I love the confidence he has at a
Well,
young
he
age.
has to.
and
Let me ask you
perform.
guys this: wouldn't you want to have Agüero,
And Jesus
Sterling, and Jesus? Those on the top three. I mean, those three are.
Oh,
like,
for sure. But they're, unfortunately, this is what happens. Aguero is getting old, and they're already talking about replacing him, just like in Barca, Suarez.
Yeah.
Suarez,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
I
it's
think
like
he's got maybe
Jesus
2 more
has to-
seasons tops.
So I think it's starting to kick in.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's starting to kick in that Jesus he needs to step up.
I
You
think,
really
and
need.
he is.
which he
He's
did
doing
big
pretty
time.
well.
I
he's-
mean, he
he's
had a
doing
great
it.
game.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, like apart from the fact that Man City's not doing as great as they would like to be in the actual league, like they're
Right.
still a great team and performing really
Yeah.
well, and
Yeah.
it'll be a good just end of the season.
I
going
think they're
forward.
doing the opposite
I
now.
mean, they're in
It's
third
gonna be
place.
interesting.
They're not
Right.
No,
No,
they're
they're,
not
not
they're
bad
not.
at all.
But for
They're
them, I
1
mean,
point away from Leicester in second place.
Right.
so-
but having won 2 seasons in a row to now being in third is kind of like
Right.
Well, and talks of Guardiola is also leaving.
Yeah.
He saw there a new rumor of him thinking about
Yeah.
leaving
Yeah.
as early as the summer.
he's coming
Yeah.
to Man U, right?
Yeah, right.
But
Nah,
yeah,
but,
but,
uh,
that's
Now to bounce over to La Liga, because you mentioned Barca and Suarez probably leaving, and I mean we have a Barca fan here. How'd you feel about their performance today, the Catalonian battle?
Oh, I mean, it's a derby, just like anywhere else. It was a great game. They both had clear chances. I think honestly, I'll take the draw. I'll take 1 point from there. They scored late. I think it was 87th,
Yeah,
88th,
it was
88th minute. But
And great
I think
play,
I think
too.
it was it was a
But
great
but
play.
again, and this is what I like because watching. I mean, again, I kind of napped for a little bit because I was tired. But watching a lot of the game and watching how Espanyol came out, and that brings back the talk we had about like smaller teams coming out with big teams to battle,
Yeah.
and they brought it to them. Like,
Right.
That's what I like. They brought in. I mean, Barcelona is not as strong as they could be, but they're still a strong team, especially compared to
100%.
Espanyol.
They're one of the
Right.
best teams
And
in
the fact that Espanyol had the confidence to come out and again, not just pull away the draw, but just actually bring a battle to them, I thought that was great, and it was a good game overall. I enjoyed that.
well, I feel like this second half of the season, they really have to step it up. And I'm talking about Espanyol. I mean, they're facing relegation as of right
Yeah.
now. They're last place,
That is great.
and if
Damn,
they
you
do
got tied
if they do get relegated, it'll be the first time I think since '93.
You guys tied against
Wow.
last place?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a tough stadium to play at.
Nah, yeah, it is
But
great.
I'll take the point.
And-
We're
and
still
now-
top. We're still on top of the table though.
Right.
But
and
now it's a
seems
closer
La Liga,
race,
Yeah,
though.
La Liga looks like a little bit closer though. For
Well, that tie that they had, and then Real Madrid's win because they beat Getafe today, that brought them now even on the table.
Yeah,
Because
they're
Barca was
even.
leading it.
Right, and then but even the next like 4 or 5 teams are fairly close. They're not too far behind.
They're all there.
It's not like a Liverpool blowout. They have Barcelona, Real at 40.
but if you look at
then 35, 31, 30, 29.
Nah, yeah, it's actually not
It's
too
really
bad.
not that far away.
No, it's not.
honestly, if you look at La Liga in general, you're always going to be talking about Barcelona and Real Madrid always going at
Yeah,
each
no,
other,
they-
and that's pretty much it.
They've
Honestly, I
run
mean, you can
that
throw
league
the
for a while.
the past couple of years. You can always throw Atletico Madrid in there, which have been doing, I think, a pretty good job. But it's just
and I
it's
mean,
just
Atletico
never enough for
Madrid is
them.
always a good team too.
They're always a
but-
good team, but they just I
I
feel
would
like
say usually like the top 7 teams in La Liga are usually good, and then the
And
rest
then
of them
everything
are
else
kinda-
is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're
That's
trash.
true,
I just
unfortunately.
they're not as impressive
They're
as
not-
like
yeah,
the
they're
bottom
not as
tier of
competitive.
Premier League. I think the
Unfortunately,
Premier
yeah,
League's
that's
bottom
true.
tier is better.
But that's every league. If we start talking about every league,
Yeah, I mean, a
that's
lot of
every
leagues,
league
a
that
lot of leagues are doing
the
that.
top like 5-6 teams are really good, and
Like
then
crazy good.
the
Yeah,
rest
and
of
then
them
the-
is like
No, it is how it usually is. But I mean, honestly, I like the Liga this year. I think personally, I think Real Madrid's gonna edge it out.
You
I
think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's
I
very
think so.
possible. I mean,
well, this is when things are gonna get real. This is
Like
when
because
really,
now everything comes back. Because
Yeah.
actually, in La Liga they have the Super Cup now, so that's coming on
Right.
Thursday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
right.
So I think who Real Madrid plays Valencia.
Real Madrid plays Valencia and Barcelona plays Atletico Madrid.
Damn, that's
They're
gonna be
great-
a good-
great
that's
matchups.
gonna- Yeah, now that's gonna be a great.
Really great
Yeah.
matchups, and we'll be discussing that our next podcast
Yeah, next episode
along
we're
with
gonna be
some
giving
other scores,
on that.
predictions.
But that should be great, man. I think that's gonna be a great game. But I think like you said, now it's really gonna be the second half of the season, especially New Year's, like when a lot of the games coming out. Champions League comes back next month, so now a lot
That
of
should be
teams
really
have to start thinking
exciting.
about role playing,
Right.
and like
I think
swap
there's
a
going to
lot
be
of
some
players.
closer games, closer scores because of this, because they have to
Yeah.
juggle between Champions
and a
League
lot of
and-
drop. I think a lot of drop points too from hopefully Liverpool and Man U comes back up top.
Do you guys watch?
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Do you guys watch the Getafe Real Madrid?
Yeah, I saw it. I think they're killing it, man. They did well, but
Real
again,
Madrid.
but they're doing well because they capitalized. But I'll admit, Getafe had a lot of chances, and if they had somebody that was clinical and could finish, that game would have been completely different.
Again, another very tough stadium to play
Yeah,
at.
like this
for-
this is one of those games where it's like the score doesn't do justice to how the game went because
Right.
Courtois has actually stepped it up. He's performing really well and he made a lot of crucial saves, but Getafe just choked on a lot of plays. They had a lot of, again, I don't know if it's the nerves or you're facing a big team or what it is, but they just messed up. They didn't capitalize.
I
And that
just
was
think
the
they did. I just think they didn't capitalize. Had they scored the first goal, I think we would have been talking about a different score here.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, this week was exciting. A lot of good games. Leave a comment down below on like what games really excited you, what games really took kind of the top game for you this week, and like, comment, and subscribe. We'll tune into next time. Here's some predictions for next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.